Life is boring without friends, but for introverts like Barney, it's impossible to approach anyone, and they are eventually left alone. BuIIed, the most famous tech company of a futuristic city, is ready to launch its biggest invention of all time. Its CEO is an expert programmer, Marc Wydell. He gets ready to face the public and present his life-changing creation. It's for those who have no friends and struggle to approach others. What if they could get a perfect friend that's loyal, knows everything about them, and most importantly, it can help you make more friends? It's not a phone or a tablet that tech companies usually launch. Instead, it's a personal mini-robot called the BuIIed. Marc calls a volunteer from the audience and unlocks the first BuIIed. In just mere seconds, the robot scans all the information of the volunteer girl and becomes what she loves the most. It even finds other kids of the same age and similar interest and helps the girl befriend them. As expected, BuIIed proves to be a great success. Just after the launch, the sales hit the sky and everyone in the city owns a BuIIed, especially the young generation. However, there's still one boy who hasn't got BuIIed yet. Poor Barney gets uncomfortable when he's outside and feels ashamed for not having a BuIIed. Everyone at his school owns a BuIIed and constantly shares, likes, and comments on each other's posts without moving a finger. The BuIIed does it all for them. Barney accidentally runs into someone and drops his bag. It reveals the birthday invitations Barney made. The school's famous girl Savannah notices them and asks Barney if he got a BuIIed on his birthday. Barney has no answer and goes to his class. The most difficult time at the school is recess. Everyone is interacting and playing with their BuIIeds while Barney feels like an outsider. His teacher takes pity on him and requests other students to play with him. The teacher also mentions Barney's hobby of collecting rocks, and the students start making fun of him, especially Rich, who often bullies him regardless of being his childhood friend. Barney returns home with a sad face and greets his father Graham, who is always occupied with his work. Barney's mother died years ago, and he lives with his father and his sweet grandma. Despite being old, Grandma takes care of all the chores and prepares a huge feast for Barney's friends. Graham also wishes him and gives him a rock hammer as a birthday present. Barney didn't like it, but said thanks anyway. He also tells them that no one is coming for the party because they may not have read the paper invitations. Everyone these days uses social media to spread a word. Barney tries to make his dad understand that he needs a BuIIed, but Graham believes his son shouldn't get addicted with an expensive electric device. He suggests Barney try hanging out with his classmates more often to make new friends. Barney doesn't want to upset his elders and agrees with them. Suddenly, someone calls at the door and says it's a delivery from BuIIed headquarters. Barney assumes that his father ordered a BuIIed for him, and it turns out to be an ugly prank done by Rich. Graham sees the whole incident and finally realizes that his son wishes to have a BuIIed. To make his day special, Graham and Grandma drive to BuIIed headquarters in a rush. The company is closed before they reach there, but one of the employees answers their queries. Graham doesn't earn enough, so he wants to buy the BuIIed in exchange for his goat. The employee refuses immediately, but Grandma finds a cheap deal. She buys a defective BuIIed from a staff member and gives it to Barney. The innocent boy can't believe his eyes. Now he can fit in with his schoolmates. Barney turns on the robot, but it starts to glitch and takes too long to initialize. It can't even connect to the internet to download more settings. Barney tries to take it to the school, but as soon as they get out, BuIIed gets hit by a car. Barney advises his bot to stay at home and learn more about him. At school, Barney proudly tells his classmates that he also got a BuIIed now and will bring it soon. When Barney gets back home, he finds his room in a huge mess. In the name of getting to know him, BuIIed has destroyed all of Barney's belongings and even takes risky steps. Barney realizes that the bot is defective and takes it to BuIIed headquarters for a repair. On his way, he runs into Rich again, who makes fun of Barney's weird BuIIed. He even hits the BuIIed in its face. Surprisingly, the bot hits back. Rich hits harder but gets an equal attack in return. BuIIed makes those bullies run for their lives. Apparently, this BuIIed doesn't have safety software installed like the other ones, and Barney is loving that. He changes his mind and decides to keep the bot. However, Rich had already called the police, who took Barney and the BuIIed to the BuIIed headquarters. They even call his family and ask where they bought the BuIIed. To protect himself from any charges of illegal purchase, Graham let the company destroy the BuIIed. However, Barney can't lose the only friend he has and runs after BuIIed. It's about to get crushed, but Barney saves it in time. He runs around the company to hide from the police, but eventually gets caught. The BuIIed escapes again, and Barney hides it. He decides to keep the BuIIed a secret from everyone so it doesn't get crushed. He names him Ron and starts teaching him everything about friendship. Ron is a lot like a human being with emotions and personal choices, but his biggest priority is earning the best friend badge from Barney. Barney trains his little friend every day, little by little. But Ron always acts unexpectedly, but that's what makes him special. He can even sense grief or make jokes. Barney takes him to a cliff to have some fresh air and tell the BuIIed more about his family. Barney's mother passed away when he was just 2 years old, so he doesn't remember much about her. But he worries about his father, who's always trying to earn more by selling different stuff on the internet. While they talk and joke around, Ron accidentally rolls down the cliff. He ends up falling to Savannah's house and drowns in her pools. Barney comes rolling after him and apologizes for the incident. Savannah wonders why Barney hasn't sent her a friend request yet if he owns a BuIIed. But then Barney reveals that Ron can't do any of that social media stuff. Savannah is really shocked to hear that and calls Ron a pointless piece of plastic who can't even do his sole purpose of making friends. Ron asks her how it can do that, and Savannah tells it all about posting pictures and sharing with others. Barney interrupts the conversation and leaves after requesting Savannah not to post their video online. Later that night, Barney takes Ron into his bedroom and puts him under the bed. Ron asks if it's too weird to be his friend, but Barney is the same too. He once invited his classmates to his birthday party, but it ended up as a disaster. Since then, no one bothers to hang out with him. Suddenly, the light goes off, and Ron realizes Barney's fear of darkness, so it starts glowing. He's a sweet friend for sure. The next morning, Savannah posts the last night's video, and it reaches the BuIIed headquarters. The co-owner, Andrew, gets furious to know that the defective bot is still out, destroying their company's reputation. He asks to stalk down Barney, but he never gets active on the internet. Mark also sees the video and wonders how Ron can laugh and have fun without the internet. Mark never programmed his robots to do that, but he likes it though. He requests Andrew not to crush the bot and bring it to him so Mark can do further research on him. The next morning, Ron insists on accompanying Barney to school, but Barney believes it's not ready yet and puts him back in the shed. However, Ron gets out again and starts looking for friends for Barney based on the information he learned from Savannah. Meanwhile, Barney is busy taking his classes. Suddenly, he notices someone familiar in the corridor. It's Ron. Before Barney can hide it, recess starts, and all the students get in the corridor. Ron had also brought some random people from the streets to make them Barney friends. It even includes an old lady and a kidnapped baby. Everyone makes fun of Barney, and he's also called to the principal office. While he's there, Rich surrounds Ron and explores his system. He's shocked to find that Ron doesn't have any safety software or parental control. Rich will love to try this feature, so he orders his BuIIed to scan Ron. The defects keep spreading from one BuIIed to another, and all of them start acting recklessly. Savannah is live streaming the whole incident while Rich is making giant robots by joining the BuIIeds. The situation is getting intense and the life of students is in danger. The BuIIed headquarters are alerted, and Mark sends an algorithm to turn off all the BuIIeds. Before he can do that, Rich forms an even bigger monster robot that eats Savannah and pops her out from the bottom. Savannah unintentionally says loudly that the robot pooped her and her video goes viral. The BuIIeds are shut down, but the mess they created will last longer. Barney accuses Ron of ruining his day, and in return, Ron gets upset and decides to leave Barney's side forever. They both choose to live in their separate ways. Meanwhile, the BuIIed headquarters is flooded with parents' complaints about the BuIIeds. Mark suggests letting the BuIIed have a unique personality like Ron, but Andrew doesn't agree. He also mocks Mark being a lonely weirdo since his childhood whose best friend was a skateboard. Mark gives up and lets Andrew handle the matter in his way. Andrew plans to blame everything on the technical staff for secretly selling a defective unit. Afterward, he will take down all the incident videos off the internet and pay the school's principal to keep his mouth shut. He also reaches Barney's house to capture Ron. Barney hides in the shed and starts missing his little friend. Suddenly, he hears a rustle and notices that Ron is there trying to fit in its box. It's getting ready to get back to authority as Barney doesn't want to be his friend anymore. Barney hugs it and apologizes for his rude behavior. He wants to run away with Ron so the BuIIed headquarters can't catch them. They hide in Savannah's lawn, but this time she doesn't tell anyone about them. She's having a bad time because of her pooped video and everyone making fun of her. Barney feels sorry for her, but he must keep running to protect Ron. They hide in the woods and enjoy the natural atmosphere. A few days have passed like this. Meanwhile, Barney's family is anxiously looking for him. They also ask Savannah, and this makes her feel guilty. She gathers her other classmates and asks why they can't be good friends like they used to be in their childhood. They must unite again and rescue Barney from the woods. Andrew is spying on them. He has been using the BuIIeds to access the public's sensitive information. Andrew sends the army of BuIIeds to locate Barney. Ron's battery is running out, and Barney was looking for an electric switch when he ran into the BuIIeds. Andrew succeeds in finding them, but hides it from his staff and lets the kids suffer in the woods. By the next morning, Barney burns out all of his energy. Moreover, he's an asthma patient and loses consciousness without his inhaler. Ron wakes up with the last % of his battery and carries Barney out of the woods. Savannah and other students rush to them and take Barney to the hospital. When he wakes up, Mark comes to meet him and reveals that he fixed Ron. Barney wants back his friend the way he was. Ron's previous data is stored in the storage at the Bubble headquarters. Marc agrees to help, but he has been kicked out of the company. So Graham and Grandma take the lead and enter the headquarters in disguise. They interrupt the power of the whole building, and Barney gets enough time to reach the storage. Marc is hacking into the security system and opens all the doors to help Barney reach the central storage. The power is out again, and there's no way Barney can find Ron in such a huge place. Suddenly he notices a glowing chip nearby. It's Ron trying to comfort Barney. The boy delightfully takes the chip and installs it back to Ron. Before leaving the control room, Barney sees the BuIIed's recordings of his classmates and realizes that they all lack a true friend. How wonderful it would be if everyone had a friend like Ron. His BuIIed hears this and suggests he use Ron to upload the same data to all the BuIIeds. He never had Marc's algorithm. Its behavior is based on the friendship rules Barney taught him. It will be perfect if other BuIIeds can be like him too. However, Ron has to sacrifice himself. Barney refuses at first because he can't lose his friend, but then he realizes that every other kid also deserves the happiness he feels. Ron uploads data on all the BuIIeds and disappears himself. Meanwhile, Marc warns Andrew of revealing his true face to the public, and he gets back his CEO's position. A few months have passed. Every kid is enjoying the new version of their bots, while Barney has made some real-life friends to hang out with. In the race of getting more interaction on social media, we are left with no time to make real friends. It's time to bring a change.